G'day everyone. Barkarati is now brought to you by Disruptor Marine Marketing, using AI to help your marine business grow. And our friends at Radix Nutrition, the most technically comprehensive nutrition products ever to exist. Unlock your potential with Radix.
What's going on?
G'day listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where I get to talk with some fantastic sailors, but I have to share the mic with clearly one of my idiot mates, but my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
Well, I don't know what you've done with the sound, but I can't hear the intro or the other bits and pieces, so I had no idea what was going on. As usual, left in the dark.
Up, you idiot.
As usual, left in the dark. Hey, I'm actually in heaven. Offline, just before we started the show, I gave you and our guest a bit of a tour of my location, Port Stephens. It's a bit of a festival of sail, I've got to say. It's 3 weeks of sailing.
Yeah, they do it. They're really building
and for those who haven't been to Port Stephens, and for international listeners,
keep it secret.
It is a slice of heaven. It is just gorgeous. Keep it secret. Yes. Well, I've got to say, it's glamour, and we've got a glamour week ahead of us. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, look, it's a shark breeding ground. It looks beautiful, but it's too dangerous to be in the water. Like, it's just definitely, no one wants it. No, it's amazing.
Yeah,
place.
Lots of sewage plants nearby. Yeah. It
is amazing.
The water's kind of off brown with a bit of green tinge.
Yeah. All right, let's check on the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Yeah, it's never changing. Like, we're having a competition now. We want listeners to write in and just come up with the next excuse for Bicey, because he is being a bit naughty.
We've got the excuse from him direct. I'm just going to go to it. Hang on a sec. I'm going to push a couple of buttons on my phone. Here it is. Sorry, fellas, haven't cracked the pavlova yet.
Yep. So it's his dad's birthday. It's his barbecue, family barbecue, and he should join, hopefully. But,
we'll see.
Pavlova. Can you put a pavlova above Barkarati? I mean,
you never realise he puts a pavlova in front of us.
Oh, well. But he's going to miss out because we've got a great guest this week.
We have.
Something has come to my attention. As you will know, over Easter, I spent time doing some commentary, and young Lisa Demanen, I was sitting next to, and Lisa looked at me and she said, "Jordan, I think you've become a bit of a cat person. Like, you've swayed, you've changed camps. You've become a cat person." And Lisa's a Olympic silver medalist in the Nacra 17. And our guest this week is from a beautiful part of the world that we've spent quite a bit of time in. Well, I have. I'm not sure about you, BP, but and in fact, his stomping ground, his yacht club, where he's from, I know exactly. I spent a lot of time there. He is a two-time Olympian. He's a world champion. He's one of the. He still looks like a 16-year-old. I've got to be honest, mate. You've got that youthful look about you, so you're going to go on forever. But we're absolutely rapt to have Emil Järudd onto the show with us. Welcome to Barkarati, mate.
Thank you. I was very close on the pronunciation. Good job.
We always pick on him, but can you have another go, please, Jay?
No. Let's focus on the important stuff, the sailing stuff. It's a joy to have you, mate. Growing up in Sweden, hey, BP, I don't know about you, but
I've never been to Sweden. Oh. I'm a Swedish virgin, so let's put it that way.
So it's. Now you're in Stockholm. You live Stockholm now, but you're Göteborg boy, Gothenburg for.
No. I'm fully born and raised in Stockholm.
Okay, so your yacht club's the Stockholm side, yeah? You're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing your compass.
Yeah, we've. Now that with the family moved there when I was 4.
Yeah.
So all the growing up, I used to be able to bike down to the marina and go for a sail. So really fortunate in that way.
So there's two obvious questions. One is, how did you get, like, what made you take up sailing from a young age? But two, how the hell do you go sailing in such a cold place? Like,
we always ask the same question.
Yeah. So as more, let's say, older sailors that we are now, more Olympic sailors, we say, oh, you can't really sail from October to March. But that wasn't true when we were sailing the Optimist. We would sail year round, pretty much. Wow. So I would say we were less wimpy than we are now, for sure.
Oh, I like it.
But most people also combine it with a winter sport. So I did alpine skiing and sailing. So
that doesn't really combine when you think about it.
No, well, we call it combine, but it's just you replace one with the other depending on the time of the year.
It's like you play footy and sail. Like you play footy in Australia and go sailing in summer. Footy in winter, sailing in summer.
Footy and cricket, even.
No, you can't do cricket. The cricket clashes. We could never do cricket. But no, I don't actually know. Like, this is how Aussie we are. What actually is alpine skiing? What does that mean? Like, is that like cross country, or is that downhill, or what's that mean?
No, yeah, that's downhill. So very close, actually, just a few 100 meters from our sailing club. We have Sweden's biggest club, like from a member standpoint. So it's really short slope. So when we compete in slalom, it's we put up the nice little plastic sticks and we do our turns. It's 17 seconds long course. Wow. So
yeah, but that's at 100 kilometers an hour.
Well, we all like to think so. It feels like 100, but it's probably more like 35, 40 because it's really short turns. So slalom is, let's say, the slowest and shortest turning of the disciplines, which is kind of the only thing you can do there because the slope is so short.
Right. And what's the snow like there?
I mean, it's like when I was young, and you think I'm still very young, but back then it was more snowy. So we're using artificial snow mostly. Okay.
Because, we in Australia, like if you go in Australia, people that ski will go up to Japan or they go to Australia where it's icy and yuck, but in Japan it's powdery and lovely. And I was just trying to work out what Sweden's like for snow, but
for the course racing, we're actually looking for ice. So you kind of drill into the slope and you put water in and you make sure it's fully solidified ice. So, so you wouldn't like it.
No. Now I know why you went sailing rather than do that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in winter you bloody getting ice off your sheets.
Yeah. How cool are kids though in Opties? Like it's such a good thing. You think about it. Like here in Australia, 90% of the kids in Opties would have wetsuits that are too big that mum and dad want them to grow into, so they're completely useless, right? They're still basically roaming around in loose-fitting wetsuits, which have no value. But in Sweden, like if you're going all year, were you as a kid? Did you have booties and dry suits?
Dry suits.
Yes, we all. I mean, in summer, a lot of us use what do you call them, like wet weather gear, and. So not a full dry suit, but pretty much 9 months of the year you would use a dry suit. Wow. And it's all well and good until you need to go to the loo, let's say. Otherwise, it's perfect.
So does that make you a better sailor because you've had to go through this hardy approach? Like this, the conditions aren't perfect. It's not like you're in tropical paradise, is it?
I think we have a decent, let's say, retention rate of sailors because it has been difficult from the start. It's not like a shock when you start doing the 29er or let's say slightly more boat worky class. You've already had to work a little bit to go sailing, I guess. But
all right, I got a question.
It doesn't feel difficult.
I got a question for you. So you've grown up in the cold weather, and this is something I've always wanted to ask someone who's grown up in the cold weather sailing, because it's normal for you. It's definitely not normal for us. But that first day that you arrived in somewhere warm, a tropical / palmery type of place, and you get off the plane and you go, yeah, right, I'm going sailing here. I mean, that must have been a real blow your mind.
Yes.
What the hell was I doing as a kid?
No, we had a world championship in the Optimist at the Dominican Republic, and I just thought, wow, imagine if I could sail in these conditions every day.
Yeah,
it's for sure.
I guess what you said a second ago, it does harden you, it toughens you, it makes you, obviously you could you now go sailing into colder weather? Does it bother you?
For sure. It's I look back and I think I was very hardened as a kid. I'm not hardened anymore.
Yeah, right.
It happens,
Actually, so how did you start? Were you a family sailors?
My dad, so my mom told my dad that she for sure was way better than him and he would have no chance when they met each other. But
your mum told your dad that?
Yeah, she was a recreational sailor and my dad was doing the whole Olympic campaign. So he tried to gently say that maybe I'll have a chance. But
I love it. So your mum's sort of a bit of an antagonizer, a bit of a joker, and plays the fool a bit?
She's very competitive, I would say.
Right.
Just.
But what was your dad's response to that comment?
Well, I think they haven't told the story too much, but in the end, I think they went sailing together, and as you know, emotions ran high, and then I think they realized that they both knew how to sail, and maybe Olympic sailing was actually quite a good way to learn how to sail properly.
Yeah.
I think my mom conceded in the end.
Yeah, good. One of the other things about growing up in Sweden when you go sailing is that there's a shit ton of rocks to bump into out there. It's like in summer, BP. It is truly beautiful to go sailing off the coast of Sweden.
It's a bucket. It's a bucket list. Don't worry, it's in there.
But there's all these little rock outcrops, and as we know from some of the events we've followed over there, like what's it called?
Raid.
The Raid. Thank you. I had a mental blank. No. So, so that is the only challenge. But I guess on an Opti, you're not going to hit them too hard. Or have you crashed into a few rocks at night time or during the daytime?
Not that much in the Opti, and then when we did, you barely noticed. But I have crashed with the 29er, the 49er, and the Nacra. Yeah.
Oh, the 49er would be fun.
Now that was actually quite bad because so just outside my home yacht club, we have this little kind of cop, very small rock in the middle, and next to it there are these nice fixed marks that you can use to do some short course work on. So we were doing laps, me and Julius Hallström, my old 49er crew, now in Sail GP, and the wind was shifting, slowly ticking right. And we were doing our course, feeling very good. And then suddenly, with another 5-degree shift, the ley line was not safe anymore. It was a big crash.
Jeez. See, you don't think of that, BP. Like, you absolutely don't think of that. It's not often that, but it's a real thing. When you're out there sailing, they're everywhere, these little bits of land.
Well, remember when Telefonica Blue hit?
Yeah.
In the Volvo?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's my world.
So you didn't have a choice to go sailing then, obviously, if Mum and Dad sort of were into the sailing and you were just a little kid.
I would say it was very, very much a choice, but my dad was very savvy. So he told all these good stories about sailing, and then he said, but it's actually a shit sport. You really shouldn't get into it, and it's not for you.
Oh, he used the reverse psychology.
Yeah, and then he said, I made all the money for my own boat. You'll never get a boat from me. You need to, if you want to do this, you need to.
And it's expensive. Yourself. And it's expensive.
Yeah. And made him do the work. Oh, he played you. He played you like a toy, didn't he?
Like a fiddle.
So you've gone, I'll show that bugger. I'll show him. Yeah. I'm going to show him everything.
Yes, I did.
Am.
So I tried to do all the summer chores and make the money, and then after like 2 weeks of doing this and showing that I wanted to, suddenly there was a boat in the garden, and he went back on his statement. So
and was that an Opti?
Yeah.
So you went out and bought an Opti and got it all sorted.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was not a man of his word, but I'm glad for that.
So you got not that long ago, 2012, you got 8th at the Opti World, right? So that's not overly long ago, but that in a fleet of the size of the Optis, that must just be mind blowing. Trying to get off a start line and trying to get decent results. I can't even imagine what your scorecard would have been, because there's so many boats on the race.
Yeah, I was. To be honest, I don't remember any starts because I was always a very bad starter. So I more remember feeling like a hero attacking through the fleet, and that's what I remember from the Dominican Worlds. No, but it was cool. I mean, back then we were super impressed by the Singaporeans. They had a very good program in the Optimist, and they seemed like superheroes. Just all of their scores were top 5. And I remember back then thinking, just what is it that makes someone be a top 5 every race type person? And I'm sometimes 30, sometimes 5. So
that's a good
looking
question.
back, that was for sure.
At that stage, Emil, did you have some fairly serious coaching, or were you still sort of just doing it because it was enjoyment and you were sort of thinking about how it was going to lead? You obviously had talent. I mean, you don't go there and finish in the top third of the fleet, but you were getting coached. You could see the Singaporeans, because that would have been Mark Robertson would have been coaching then, wouldn't he?
I don't remember if it was Happy or Pim, but they had one of those coaches, and we actually got to go visit them, and they had a really serious program, like 4-hour sailing every weekday. In beautiful, like you said before, the conditions were beautiful in Singapore. So
yes,
pretty much year round.
Yeah, no need for wetsuits in Singapore or dry suits.
No, but to answer your question, I think I just really enjoy sailing. So I mean, there was a lot of opportunity at my club to train a lot. I think we had coach-led trainings like Tuesdays and Thursdays every week, and then we had a really nice little program called the Wednesday Cup, which was basically a small organized event every Wednesday where we would compete like inside the club. And then every weekend there would be a regatta. So I mean, it was pretty, looking back, it was a very intense program, but it didn't feel like it because I really always just enjoyed sailing.
Yeah, so it was a passion. I mean, that's a really important point as well, because we see a lot of kids come through, and there's ones that are pushed, that are driven, that are and some of them, we talked about this a while ago, Jay, about especially a couple of the people that went through and got to a point and lost the passion. It's keeping that passion, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, BP, is like, Emil, if you think back to that, do you reckon the coaches were just trying to make it fun, or, just like there wasn't pressure? Because one of the arguments we have is, especially the Opti age kids, you want to just make it fun, right? That's the secret. And the more you sail, the better you get. You don't need to be thoroughly coached. And I just wonder, do you think the coaches or the organisers made the racing lots of fun for that, or it was just fun for you because you were racing and getting better?
I think as kids we always knew how to make it fun. I mean, we were always, whatever exercise there was, we were having fun. Like we were trying to match race each other or scream a bit, and we had these little, like, basically skateboards that we were trying to look cool on the boat park. There was always things going on. And I think I sailed the Opti around 7 years doing the training, and I think I had at my home club probably 7 different coaches at least. Right. So some of them were way more into just being there and making sure we had fun, and some of them were super talented and good coaches, like Ton, for example, now that coached the Swedish World Championship winner in the Opti. He was coaching even back when I was sailing, and he was always like, he made this really amazing compendium of how to team race in an Optimist, like I think it was 100-page document that he drew up. So for sure he was a serious coach.
And did you read it?
No, I didn't read it, but I think he wrote the document while he was teaching us team racing. So I got to learn it firsthand, and then there's a book.
He was using you as guinea pigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was probably trying to get time at home on the weekend, so he wrote a whole instruction manual. I did the same for match racing for a club I was at. I wrote a whole manual so other people could coach, so I could spend some time doing other things. But that success, and obviously it came to you, and then it's been a progression for you. Like you've obviously. I'm not sure how you chose your path, but, you did the 29ers and so Youth Worlds, I think. Is that right? So 2014 Youth Worlds. And then
yes.
Then you were talking 49ers and into Nacras. And so was there much planning in that pathway?
Well, I think so we have a Swedish saying, which is you slide in on a shrimp sandwich, leading på räkmacka, which is basically when things kind of work out for you. So I got some really amazing opportunities along the way.
Sliding on a shrimp
so I would
sandwich.
say I didn't plan a lot, no.
Right.
Because things just seemed to happen to me in a good way. So, I mean, I was, after the 29er for sure, I was eyeing the 49er and I really wanted to sail it. But I got the opportunity to be the sparring boat for the Swedish girls at the Rio Olympics.
Yep.
So I was sailing with a really experienced crew, both of us short and not that heavy.
Gotcha.
to match the girls. And during that time, my crew at the time, Julius, he was being headhunted by Artemis. He was sailing on the America's Cup B boats in Bermuda. And then once the sparring program was over and we were going to go back for niner sailing, he was too good at his job, so he got a full-time offer from Artemis, and I was without the crew.
Yeah.
But then a few months later, the Nacra crew split up, and I got an offer to come sail there. So, I mean, in the end, it hasn't been so much active choices, more lucky opportunities that I see.
Well, you make your own luck. We were a big believer in that. You've got a destined path. But my question is, so you've gone from Optis to 29ers, which is obviously mono, and then you did the 49ers, which is, again, a high-performance mono, and then you've gone onto a cat. Had you done much cat sailing when you got onto the Nacra? Because it's high performance straight up.
Yeah, I did get to do some moth sailing before. So my dad used to be the Mach 2 dealer in Sweden. He had a bit of a health scare.
Side of it, yeah.
Yeah, so he had a bit of a health scare, so he was at the hospital, and then during that time there was a moth worlds going on somewhere, so he was seeing all these videos and he was like, oh, I can't waste my life. If I'm gonna get health scares, I need to do something fun. So he got probably the third or fourth Mach 2 in Sweden, and then he became the dealer, and I got to try the moth. So to be honest, it didn't feel all that weird with the Nacra. When I got it, I was sailing it like a skiff, like very twisty, open mainsail and reaching a bit. So we were not particularly good, especially upwind. But it felt normal, I would say.
It's a full bore boat though, like especially.
That's my point, Jay. You've gone from a monohull to a catamaran. I mean, there's different principles.
And it was evolving their foils at that time, and
correct.
Like they were coming out of the water, and they weren't designed for it initially, and then, God, there must have been some crashes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really scary there in the beginning. So I started just before the La Grande Motte Worlds in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had our boat delivered there 6 days before the event, and then I think it was 3 or 4 days before the event, Borglari lost his finger. So I mean, it was, looking back to it, for sure it was a scary time to enter into the class and seeing injuries and things, but I was too focused on the boat and learning how to do it to be too scared about those things. But yeah, I heard it was a bit traumatic for sure for a few people around that crash, because it was bloody and scary and not what you expect going out for a training day in your Olympic dinghy.
No, crashes on falling cats are never going to be good. No crashes are good, but falling cats seem to hit harder. So Yeah, it's not good. But obviously you went through, you jumped into this thing. You obviously worked out to tighten your leashes a little bit and sail closer to the wind. And, you got to go to a couple of Olympics, and it looks like you're heading, you're on another 4-year campaign, or what have we got, a couple more years to go. And you've just decimated their fleet. You come out and had a nice win in in Spain, in Princesa Sofia, or what? Is that you're going again? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the drive to win an Olympic medal is very much there, and the passion for sailing is still there. So even if the grand allure of winning that medal wasn't there, I'm not sure I would have chosen anything else than to be able to sail 300 days pretty much per year, not having to become totally bankrupt in the process, maybe not making lots, but no, it's for sure this is an opportunity to say thanks to the club and the federation and a lot of people that have supported us along the way, because it is an extraordinary life for sure.
Wonderful points.
Yeah, it's cool. I did wonder how it worked with Olympic campaigning in Sweden. Like, are you training? You're obviously not training at home all the time. I'm assuming you go somewhere down south and get warmer weather to train in. Is that how it works for your program?
Yeah. So this year, for example, we're going to spend a bit of June, July, and September at home, and it's actually in Gothenburg, because the other Nacra and Hanna, my sailing partner, all live in Gothenburg.
Yep.
So we'll do a bit of home training, but the rest will be following the circuit, doing the regattas, and normally it's either Villamora, Lanzarote, Sardinia, or Cagliari,
Sydney,
any of those places. Some people do go down under to train during the winter, but
have you been down here?
I have. So we did back when I got to do the shadow campaign in the FX. We went to Auckland, and we also had a Worlds in 2019 in Auckland and 2020 in Geelong.
That's right. Right, they were very close in dates, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Really,
Geelong's
really good
a
trip.
bit further away than where we are, but hey,
Geelong's not a bad place. And
Geelong's a lovely place.
Yeah,
Geelong's lovely
place. It's the joy of the Olympic program. Being able to do that and live that lifestyle. And they've World Sailing's got the Grand Prix program now, trying to really make it marketing it. And as a youngster like yourself, being able to do all these campaigns, that lifestyle, it not only is it a cool lifestyle, but the ability to sail 300 days a week, you've started to get a year. You start to get pretty good, I would suggest, at what you're doing.
Yes, and it's no one is doing 300 days in their Olympic class. So I think if you can hit 200, people are normally quite happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I always, like, at the moment I'm here at the Bisque sailing the A class, and in the past campaign I did a lot of wing foiling.
Mm-hmm.
So I always need something to keep the itch away, even when I'm supposed to be resting.
Yeah. So for the listeners, just to clarify, so I mean, you got third at the 23 World Champs in the Nacra. You won the F18 Worlds in 23 as well, didn't you? So, you're actually right there. Medal contention is definitely something, and as I said, you've just won in Spain, so you're right there. What's going right for you at the moment?
Well, I think I'm. Some people would maybe call me talented. I would say I'm not. I need a lot of training. And back then in 2023, we had, so Hanna and I started sailing in 2022, and we were sailing a lot, and we were really finding our groove there at the end of 2023. And that culminated in the bronze medal at the Worlds. And then we had a very unlucky accident where Hanna fell off the boat and her knee was hit by the rudder. So we were out from September to we gently started sailing in January 2024, but we could only do a few days per week, and we were pushing hard to make the Olympics, but it was
too much of a push.
Not easy for her knee. And we realized that you need a lot of hours in your system to sail a Nacra 17 well, and you need to be not second guessing anything. Basically, you need to be brave and fully in tune with the boat. So I would say, I wouldn't blame it on the injury, because for sure I could have as well done a better job there at the games in Paris, but we didn't have the easiest time, let's say. And now, since then, we've had some good rehab and a bit of time off the boat, and then lots and lots of hours back in the boat. And yeah, not as many hours before the 2025 Worlds, where we finished 6th, and then a big, and we feel way more comfortable in the boat, which means that suddenly I can start to race again, looking out of the boat and feeling smart sometimes and feeling not so smart sometimes in the strategy and tactics, but for sure racing in
but starting to have that belief in each other again, which is getting to a point of second nature, not having to think about the other person. It's meaning you're able to do things instinctively.
Yes, very exactly. In tune.
So it's and decisions and maneuvers and all that stuff is just second nature.
Yeah, which means there is brain power left over to think about where to go on the course,
which is good. The world's a month away in France, so that's obviously a big one. In the Nacra 17 class, there's been a few sort of talents come to the fore, but particularly the one nation, the Italian nations, had.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, is there a void there now? Because it's been dominated, hasn't it?
Tito and Banty.
Well, they're all back, so no one has quit. So here in Palma, we were a little bit missing them, because Gigi, the helmsman of ITA 98, is trimming on the AC40 for Luna Rossa, and Ruggiero is helming. So I think they are even on the same side of the 40. They were busy during Palma. They will both sail Lier, and then we only have Gigi and Maria. They would hate me if I call them the second boat, because they're very close now. But you have the two Italian boats, and Ruggi and Caterina are not doing the Worlds, but they are doing Lier. That's happening next week.
Okay. Because then, because I was just going to say, when the Worlds are on, the first of the America's Cup events are on, I think, at the same time, or very close timing. So, yeah. But that domination. So obviously, those two boats you referred to, those two teams, have just been amazing and gapped away from the field. But, are you getting back to them? Have you been watching how they sail? I'm guessing your coach had spent plenty of time and you've learnt a lot of their tricks.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, a big kind of progression of my Olympic career has been thinking that there is a secret always. So chasing the secrets, but we haven't found so many secrets, to be honest, or at least they don't feel like secrets. But we for sure are closer. I don't know if we're there. For sure, there's plenty of more performance to squeeze out of a Nacra 17. So even though the Italians have been beating the rest of us for a long time, they haven't been sailing a Nacra 17 at 100%. I don't think any of us has yet. So
okay.
But the thing is, they've had. So it used to be other boats in the program. Like they've always had high quality sailors for Italy, and their federation is providing kind of a high pressure environment for them to train against. So they're all forced to train together, but not necessarily lovey-dovey sharing information and these things. So I think it builds quite a high pressure training environment. So they're really wanting to beat each other without giving each other the answers. So I think it's and once someone has found an answer, I think it will also be a bit obvious for the others what they are doing. Like, are they standing somewhere else in the boat? Are they doing something different with the trav main sheets? ratio or whatever it might be, I think the others pick up on it, and if it's better, they try it as well. So I think basically they've had a good base of training and a good setup to get good.
What we did mention at the start, obviously, and part of the reason we've got you is to congratulate you for your win in
you and Hanna.
Yeah, I mean, to win the regatta is a huge bonus. Obviously, there's a confidence builder, and there's this and that. Without giving any secrets away, how did you feel? Where did you feel you were sort of strong? I mean, because it's you mentioned the fleet is very, very strong across the board, and there's anyone can win on any given. How do you feel most confident?
I think for sure in the fast boats you are seeing some speed differences. So I don't think it's fair. I think in the Nacra 17 fleet there is the years you need to spend to get quick enough. So I would say that there are maybe 4 or 5 boats that can win, and there is maybe 16 boats that are really a threat when you're next to them. I mean, for sure the other boats are, if you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, they will pinch you off. But if all even, you can be faster. So I would say it's a bit of a advantage having been sailing at the level of, let's say, 7 to 13 for a few years that we have been speed-wise, where you need to be very mindful of the positioning and as well as the let's say high risk and low risk options. So now that we've made a bit of a jump with our speed, suddenly it felt a lot easier, everything. But
funny that, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but that's how it felt. I don't
think shit's easy, mate. What are you talking about?
We didn't really do something super smart, or we didn't do something amazing. We just plugging and playing the same things, but with better speed, and the outcome was better. Without diminishing the performance, we had some, let's say, things to work through.
Emil, the big key here is you have to find that speed. I mean, that's the beauty of what you're doing. The beauty of what you're doing is you've found the speed. And when you find that speed, it, as they say, speed makes a brilliant tactician.
Yeah.
We've heard that time and time again, and so, but in these particular fleets, where that even 0.5% is critical, to come away with a win from a regatta like that, I mean, it's huge. I mean, it really is, and confidence building for you. So, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm interested with the dynamics on your boat, like any boat. Obviously, sailing increasingly moving to mixed crews, and Nacra is leading the way. What's the personalities like between yourself and Hanna? Like, is Hanna quiet or is she loud? Are you the quiet one? Who's the more intense? I'm intrigued.
Now be careful what you say here, mate.
Yeah, not in the nicest possible way.
No, the first, I guess, answer to the question is, for me, mixed sailing it's way more down to who you're sailing with than that a woman sails in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I think the female crews are better at multitasking, and they're better at doing the things in the order they should be done. I think maybe less freestyle than us guys at some point. That's the only trend.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that they're trying harder. They're putting more effort in, so they actually follow the routine we set in the briefing, whereas us guys, we don't listen as well. But so that's for sure a positive. And then Hanna is, I would say she is probably the more, I mean, it's hard to say. I'm forceful around pushing through my nerdy bits and pieces and like wanting to find improvements, but she is also more of a forceful personality in general. I would say she can push her will through for sure. And normally in a very good way.
Yeah.
So, but I think both of us are pretty quiet and relaxed. If you look from the outside, we had a discussion on how to make like good media for the Nacra 17, and I think we are not the best boat to put the comms devices on. It doesn't sound so exciting on board. We're a bit nice and Scandinavian. I think the Italian and Chinese and more Latin boats, there's more interesting conversations happening on board.
Well, I don't know how much you followed Baccarati, and I don't know, how much you know about us and our show, but we are huge supporters of banter on the race course, and that can be anything about trying to put your competitor off, or compliments. We don't care what it is. Are you quiet on the race course, or do you like to get your point across?
To be honest, we are sailing so fast, and the boats whistle quite a lot. So it's hard to do a whole lot. I mean, for sure, I when I want someone to tack, or when I want someone to do something, I'll scream a bit. And we've had a bit of we have a new skill, let's say, that we managed to capsize other boats on and around the offset leg. So
nice.
That's through screaming and laughing and a few things, I guess. But
laughing.
I don't think
laughing. Now there's a good approach.
Laughing.
Oh, well, we're not laughing. Laughing.
Sorry.
So
that's an interesting approach.
Normally the boats have to do the talking in the Nacra, because it's actually ridiculous on the upwind with I think we have sometimes we 110-degree upwind angles.
Wow.
So between the boat on the left side and the right side of the course, we're seeing more than the distance of the upwind leg.
Wow.
And, which makes that the distance between each boat is also normally quite large.
Geez, some leverage there. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. It truly is amazing when you think about that, but if you were to say something in Swedish, is there like a Swedish go-to phrase that you use? Like if you were being cheeky?
Not that much. I mean, we're not that cheeky on the course in general, us Swedes. I think we have a lot to learn from bar karate.
Yeah. I know exactly what's going through BP's head right now. I'm not going to say a word, but I guarantee I know what he's going to say.
Pretty simple. I've got to say the party's just arrived, so excuse the background noise. But hey, there's a bit of banter going on behind me right now. I can tell you that much.
I've started to do a little bit of match racing and then more pro sailing, and I think I'm learning a lot from the older Swedish sailors that I didn't know in the past.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've also got like a whole transplant of West Australians.
I was going to say, yes,
they live in Sweden now and do a bit of mothing and sailing and stuff, and they're racing Sail GP and a few things. And I think you could probably pick up a bit of banter from some of those blokes. They're quite cheeky.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm sure you know who I mean.
I actually, so back to your original question, I'm not a big screamer on the course. So the banter parts, I distract myself. Like it's very clear when I play paddle or I play anything.
Yeah, we know quite a lot of people that happens to as well. We know a lot of people that happens to as well. And you just got to turn around and say, well, you just shut up because you're putting yourself off.
Well, I'm a little bit too happy with my witticism when I come up with something. So
I love it. Yeah. Hey, obviously, you've managed to carve yourself out a pretty good career here, like doing very well and getting better and better. You've got a lot of experience on falling catamarans. How close are you to the Artemis team?
Well, that's what I was about to say.
I think not that close. So there's one. I'm thinking with the, let's say, peak of pro sailing and these opportunities, you need to earn your place first, and that comes with some Olympic medals. So I'm not expecting any calls until after that. And I don't have time to, let's say, do the normal route, being more the busboy and working up through, because to get those medals we need to spend all the time we can get. Like, time is the limiting resource. So I'm just happy when I get other.
Isn't it, Jay?
That's a good answer.
Sorry?
But I guarantee you right now, Artemis are listening, because they listen. Quite a few of the boys on the boat, are listening. So I can tell you that they're hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to come out and try, and if I'm good enough to earn a place, it would for sure be amazing. But it comes with its own what do you call them, limitations, or I think it adds to a lot to the Olympic sailing, but it also takes away some time. So it would level up the thinking in the big stage planning that we need to do.
Yeah, I'd suggest
Stay focused.
Stay focused. Yeah, that's what I think BP and I think we're in the same team.
I see a very promising future over the next couple of years. The beauty is as well, of course, you've now become a bar karatian.
Oh,
so that's very important. That's very important for you. So you've got the reverse curse now. So just keep that sitting there, and that's a good thing.
Very cool. All right, mate. Well, this is cool. It's been fun. We really appreciate you taking time to chat to us, and we're going to watch with interest both you and Hanna and see how you go. Obviously, a very challenging class of boat to sail. And now that I've become a cat convert, thanks, Lise. She's told me that I'm a cat whacker
you
now.
mentioned to me the other day.
We're going to hope you guys do absolutely smash it. And Australia has a very good. We love Sweden, and I think the Swedes love Australia as well. So kindred spirits. So we're very happy to see you do well. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
What I love about that is just the passion that has continued since his Optimus days. I mean, it just seems he's driven. And it's not from being forced; it's natural, and it's something that these sailors have got at this level. That they drive for that excellence. They see performance as a almost like a stepping stone to the next level, and that's where he's at. I mean, you don't just win. You don't win the Princess Sofia by chance. This is a big regatta.
I like what you said there, drive for excellence. I call it the search for perfection. I've always used that terminology and so I think that's where a lot of joy comes.
That's why you're the super coach and I'm just
No, it's an equivalent phrase, and that drive for perfection, drive for excellence, search for perfection. That's what he's on that pathway. You can see the way his brain was working, and when he was talking.
I like as well how with these good guys, and girls, down to earth. There's nothing.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
They're just focused, and I love it. And I love the fact that he's and there's no doubt it's the same with Hanna. I mean, they've selected each other because of their ability to sail together and be together as far as a crew's concerned. But to keep that intensity especially after Hannah's injury. I mean, that's a big thing, when you get injured, to come through that and then come out the other side and keep pushing. I mean, it's a big thing.
Well, I'm sure what's helped them along that path with all the travel they do, 300 days a year on traveling, is the use of the Radix nutrition. Functional nutrition designed to support consistent vitality. So you've got a whole bunch of different systems where you focus on health and vitality, or endurance and high performance, outdoor and adventure. And so you can just choose all these different meals and perform at your maximum. And if you want to try that and try
give it a go. I mean, I got to say, I mean, the California Race Week and the Pac Cup's coming up. I'm fully sorted.
Fully sorted.
I'm not suffering around.
Radixed up, my friend. Radixed up.
Radixed up.
I do have if you go jump on their website, Radix Nutrition, use Bar Karate, one word, as your discount code, get a discount on us. And then if you are owner of a marine business and you're looking to get the most out of your work from reputation and word of mouth, and maybe you're busy and sometimes you're missing out on leads or not following up fast enough, then Disruptor Marine Marketing has a system that fixes that for you. So Disruptor is DISRUPTA. It's disruptormarinemarketing.com.au. They'll install a 24/7 AI receptionist, so you never miss a call or an inquiry again. We've been calling it the buy spot, but I'm not sure.
Well,
I think their AI it might be a lot more consistent than our buy spot. But they set up a referral system that doubles your referred leads within 60 days, and if you don't, you don't pay. So
it's the way forward. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I'm starting to play around with it a lot, and marine businesses in particular, where it's hands-on and you're not always in a position to answer phones. Give it a go, give it a crack.
What have you got to lose? It's 30. You got a you got a free 30-minute demo you can try out and see if it works. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. But yeah, cool. But yeah, so disruptormarinemarketing.com.au, anywhere in the world you can give it a go. Events, my friend, if we jump onto it, TP52 Super Series is about to go again. So the first event in Porto kicks off May 4th through May 9th. And then we go straight into the World Champs in Porto Cervo. So Porto Patales.
Is that where it is this year?
Yeah, Porto Cervo, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 15.
That's a horrible place to sail.
Yes.
Why would you sail there?
Oh, I don't know. Who would have thought?
Bradshaw in the background. He's saying the same. He's asking me why.
Why would you sacrifice yourself like that? Because of the money. But yeah, good luck to that. I know the TP52s in Australia are having another weekend this weekend as well on Sydney Harbour. So I'm not going to worry about that. But they're doing an ongoing series. There is a funny event, the old solo Trans-Tasman race starting 9th of April, which is supposedly started. Let's just say the website's not working, so I don't think that one's going ahead, is what I'm going to say. I wanted to raise it as a discussion, but let's just leave it. I don't want to be too rude. But anyway, so forget that one. But the one thing that I do want to touch on, our good close friends Cam and Susie in the Hobie class world, the world champions. Remember we had them on the show and they were talking about Hobie Week in Exmouth in Western Australia.
Yep.
Yeah, that had to be delayed because a cyclone came through.
It did.
Yeah, and sort of shut down Exmouth. They've had to actually shut it down for tourists at the moment while they recover, because Exmouth is a small town up on the middle of the West Australian coast. Amazing part of the world to go. But they've delayed the Hobie week in Exmouth, and it's going to be pushed back to the 25th of September through to the 2nd of October this year. So one of the things that I've learnt about the Hobies from all the conversations I've had with Suze and Cam is that they love to travel and race against it. They got no problems travelling all over the country. Maybe at the moment with a jump up in petrol prices they might, but yeah. So if you're into that and into Hobie sailing, and it seems like a lot of fun, because I have had an awful lot of conversations with Susie and Cam, and in fact I love their company a lot. They spoil me rotten, is all I'll say. When I was in Western Australia, I'm actually going to probably be in Western Australia the week after that event, so I'll be able to catch up on all the follow-up on that one. But yeah, so that one is coming up, and it's just been moved, and I wanted to highlight that for our friends in the Hobie world. The Wivenhoe Winter Marathon, this is a personal plug because this is just not far from where I live. It's one of those classic little races in the middle of nowhere, a dam in the middle of Queensland in Logan's Inlet in Wivenhoe Dam. Saturday 6th of June, entries and 7th of June. Classic, just turn up with whatever dinghy or trailer sailor you got. And registrations will start from the 1st of May, but that's an event that's coming up. So if you're interested in that, jump on that one.
Sounds like a real sort of campfire and guitar thing, you know?
That's it. That's exactly what it is. Exactly right, my friend. Exactly right. Yeah, cool. So there's some events coming up.
Well, events. I mean, we're going to talk about events. I'm at an event right now.
Yes.
Port Stephens.
Tell us what's going on in Port.
And the Commodore's Cup starting this week.
Mm-hmm.
So 100-something boats for that. It's going to be very exciting. And obviously sailing in the beautiful bay here and slightly offshore at Port Stephens. Then it goes into the IRC next week. And then it goes to the Fast 40s and TPs, I think, the week after that. So it's 3 weeks of sailing here in beautiful Port Stephens, the Super Series, the Australian Super Series.
So for overseas listeners, you've all seen pictures of Sydney Harbour. Port Stephens is like 2 hours north by car, and it is probably twice the size of Sydney Harbour. It is just glamorous.
It'd be big as, yeah, and it's absolutely stunning. But
it is.
Like I said, if you international listeners, if you're interested in coming to Australia, obviously the harbour is a very big focal point. But you want to get out a little bit where there's no people and beautiful crystal clear water and no one sailing.
Yeah.
This is the place to go. So that's going to be exciting from our point of view. We've got that. I'm sailing on obviously an modified IC37 Metere, which is Latin for send it. So there you go.
I like it.
So a little bit of a twist on words there, which is fun, and we're ready to go. So Port Stephens.
Cool. All right. Good luck. Enjoy your racing.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll move on to Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week.
Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week.
Presented by our friends at Vycobi. I can see you wearing a Vycobi top BP in this shot. That looks like a Barkarati sun shirt, which the listeners can obtain from jumping on to the Vycobi website. We've got a couple of mail-ins, but we're going to announce the monthly winner for the month. I think it's going to be pretty easy from my perspective, but if we jumped on, so we've got an email from a friend of the show. Let's call him that. A great friend of the show. For those who listened in to our Hobart coverage, Chris Bolger. He just sent an email. Have you seen that one, BP?
I'm just looking at them now. So because a couple of them come in late. Actually, this one came in today, by the looks of it, did it?
Yeah. So Chris just sent this through.
Yes, I have seen it. Yes, got it. Go for it.
I was deeply alarmed to learn on episode 355 from memory of Zoe Dranfield's...
Off the top of his head, obviously, it sounds like.
I could just see him giggling away. Of Zoe Dranfield's victory in the club champs at Manly. Assuredly, you recognise the existential threat this poses to the yacht racing industry. It is well understood that sales in the yacht racing industry rely heavily on the male need to compensate. What will happen to the sale of 100-footers or ultramaxis if women take over the sport, as Miss Dransfield has? Do you honestly think it will be easy to convince women skippers that they need a whole new sail inventory so they can lengthen their prods another 6 inches? Sure, you can double participation by welcoming women, but what will happen to spending? But
it'll go into a budget. That will happen, and onto a Excel spreadsheet.
But seriously, big congratulations to Miss Dransfield, right. And bigger congratulations to the Manly Skiff Club. Manly's accomplishment in terms of growing the sport by encouraging everyone to participate at the most demanding end of our sport, and it stands out on the global stage as a shining example.
I've got to say, that's a very cool email, very, very funny. But the feedback we've got from that interview was very cool. So good email, Chris, no question.
Yeah. We got another email from Lawson Shaw. He was just talking about the 64th Mattung Easter Regatta for Sandringham Yacht Club and Mattung. 1 million volunteers and parents to thank, and it's a bloody fun weekend. There's cadets flying everywhere. Then there's some... my eyesight's going. Miscellaneous garbage class, lasers, 420s, some open bics, a couple of waterlogged pacers and a fleet of 5 tacers. He sent us a bunch of photos, including the miscellaneous garbage trophy. The Honeymoon Bromance Edition has its own whole story, but it's all in a great race weekend, including teams raced back from the barrier where the cadets sailed each other to every corner of the lake. So it sounds like a lot of fun, and we want to hear about those because that is encouraging.
Another campfire and guitar program.
Yeah. And I reckon that's one of the things that we should really try and ramp up a little bit more. I'm
campfires and guitars?
Doing more of those events. Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I love a guitar.
Right. Let me go. So that's the listeners for this week. Then there's a couple of... So they are included in the finalist for Listeners of the Month. I also went back through the list, and there's a couple that I want to remind people of. So if I can find them quickly. So Brent Roon, he had a short but sweet one. So he was talking about, hello from Northern California, long-time listener, first-time caller. Maybe Disruptor can provide you with an AI buy spot for when he is being hammered by rum squalls in the Caribbean. Good work. That was pretty good. I like that one, short but sweet.
Well, we're going to have to add Pavlova to that. when the Pavlova's gotten in the way of a good bloody podcast.
I love it. That's exactly right. And then... there was a bloke by the name of Dave Whirl who came up with the whole Burgee, the Barkarati Burgee idea, which I thought was just genius. I don't know how you feel about that, BP. And in fact, I
love it because I'm pretty serious about this Barkarati Yacht Club thing. I think it's got merit.
Yeah.
I think there'd be quite a few thousands of people that would be interested in joining our club and participating in our global events that we're thinking about. We've already been discussing about global events. A burgee for me would be great. So yeah, I'm more than interested. But go on.
Well, so Dave sent in an email. Now, I've lost a lot of respect for Dave since I've discovered that he's a bowman. But greetings from very close by the Palace today as I fix fridges at Coles Birkenhead Point. I'm on call, sadly, so no chance of an icy cold beer this Savo. Was having a chuckle regarding the idea of the Barcarati Yacht Club burgee. I'm thinking something similar to the Sardinian flag with opposing corners featuring a pair of Crocs, some kind of refreshing beverage like a Mai Tai perhaps, the letter V for Vycobi, and a rainbow, the boat obviously, preparing to sail my first Brisbane to Gladstone. I wonder how he went. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So he just talks about, but that was, I did love the thought, and he put some thought into it, and for me, that's the thing I respect most. So now, you have some late-breaking mail about Dave, and so my vote is for him. And I'm wondering, I can't ask Bicey because Bicey's not here, so he doesn't get a vote. Do you have a vote?
As how crazy this situation
is, yes, things have changed.
Crazy situation.
Yes. This is not planned.
Not planned at all. This is not planned.
Yeah.
I actually, I did put this forward as my preferred vote.
Right.
So should we perhaps bring him over?
So for the listeners, it does turn out, BP just happened to announce after we finished the last record, as we were just discussing what we're going to come up with, and he said, actually, Dave's just sitting out on the balcony where I am right now. I didn't even know you knew him, but yeah.
Should I tell him he's won?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Dave, you've just won the Vycobi $200 Listener of the Week. And that's not a rig. It's not a rig up either.
At all.
I mean, this is the crazy part of this. This podcast is just nuts, isn't it? Really.
And if you want to win a couple of $100 worth of Vycobi gear, and let me tell you, BP and I have got some Barcarati caps on in our kit bags right at the moment. Packed. Send us a couple of blanks to see if we like the design. So that could be
just on that. On that, I was up there the other day with Patrick, and walked in and told him about what I'm doing, and about the Pac Cup and the California Race Week, and he has bent over backwards to support us.
It's a good man.
So
generous.
He's more than generous. It's that he just loves the sport, and he loves what everyone's doing. So get out there, get the gear. It's super cool. I've been using it all this week, so it's great.
Yeah, it's good quality gear.
So well done, Dave. Well, by the way.
Yeah, nice work. All right. That is a big win. All right. But if you want to win a couple of $100 worth of gear, just reach out to us. cheers@barcarati.com. cheers@barcarati.com. And send us your little messages. We do notice that people tend to hit us in the last week. And if you're going to hit us in the last week, don't leave it for the Sunday, because we often record beforehand. There's no actual date or time when we particularly record, but yeah.
And we're fucking lazy.
Oh, stop. Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time
without Bice. Right.
With a Pavlova.
Yeah, disappointed. We're missing him. I'm actually starting to think about substitutions, but he's a hard man to replace. So yeah.
Anyway.
I think any woman could do the job. Anyway, I'd love to get. I think we should get a super sub in.
We'll get a super sub.
Bit going on in the old America's Cup World, BP. There's a bit we sort of alluded to a bit, and we try and not step on people's toes, and we certainly didn't do that with the latest news. But I did see, come the end of March, a few people on some of the chats going, "Oh, there's nothing going on. There's nothing. It's all hype."
There is a lot going on, and I've got to say,
it was hard not to write anything. I tell you, I was sitting there reading it, just going, "Oh, if only you knew."
I got to say, as usual with Barcarati, I'm left in the dark with quite a lot of things, and one of the things that's come up was that I was actually at the yacht club today after attempting to go for a practice race, but too much wind, and Jodie Shields walks up to me.
Don't
Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's happening? Do you know what's happening? What with, me being as completely aloof to the world of yachting world as I am, mentioned this. And so America's Cup, Australia. Go on, let's go.
No, I'm not. That one's we haven't. We're not bringing that one out. Okay.
Oh, I'm not even going to bring it up.
No, I don't think we should. I think we should talk about the. I mean, I'd much rather not step on anyone's toes. Okay, I think that they need to bring it out.
Well,
public
there's
first.
talk. Put it that way.
Hey,
there's lots of talk.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying anymore. I don't want to get in trouble, but I do want to congratulate American Racing. They picked up all the American Magic assets and took
Team
them up.
USA. Yeah.
Yep. So we've got a new US challenge. They're based up Newport Way. Kenny Reid's going to be the CEO of that, and so they're coming in late and are going to give it a red hot go. But the Americans are back in, and so it'll be intriguing. But that has been. That happened for a while. So, and for those who know the Super Yacht V, we'll probably be able to work out who the person is, the money behind all this. But beyond that, it is going to be interesting. Old Kenny Reid can pull a team together. There's massive resources there. So we know the North Sales Group are going to be all over it. But yeah, that's the big one. Anything you want to say on that, Bud?
I did have a chat to a couple of people about this one. It's interesting, but I think that the full support's there.
Yep.
So Kenny Reid is Kenny Reid. He's a very popular person in our industry. So I think he'll have the support of US in general. We talked about American Magic pulling the pin and doing this, but I think what they're doing is they're taking a different approach to the industry in general.
Yep.
And have been there for the best part of 2 full cycles. So hand over the reins. Let's see how it goes. And obviously there would be a shitload of data handover, and so I'm pretty sure that in the background there's plenty of support. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. And just to highlight to everyone, the preliminary regatta kicks off. The first of this Cup Cycles regattas kicks off in Sardinia in Italy, 21 to 24 May, Cagliari. Yep. And there's a real reason why they're there, obviously, but getting excited. So, 39 days till we're underway.
It's only 39 days.
Yeah. So
you know what the Italian phone code is?
39
plus 39.
Yeah. Yep.
How do I know that?
Well, you made a phone call in Italy?
It used to be an America's Cup team called plus 39.
Oh, is that right? I never connected on that one. I never even thought about that.
2007, Valencia.
All right. We've missed the summation of the Brisbane to Gladstone. Obviously,
that was another thing.
We had a lot of positive response. We did the coverage. It was good fun.
You couldn't say a word, could you?
No. There was.
Are you allowed to say a word now?
About the start?
Yes.
Back to black? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, we're talking about it.
So, the coverage went gangbusters. I do want to congratulate. There's a bit of reverse curse action has gone on. With Warrow, with the Wild Thing taking line honours, and young Brett
some stories
Whitbread.
there too, though.
Hey?
There's some stories there too. I can tell you, I was sitting down having a beer the other day with a couple of people who were on the boat. There's a couple of cracking stories out of that.
Yep. But congratulations to Brett Whitbread and the team on Curb. They won the IRC overall, and also the one on PHS. Had a fantastic result. So congratulations to them.
A couple of reverse curses there.
Yep, absolutely. So just wanted to point out the power of the reverse curse. I highlighted in the lead-up that Brisbane to Gladstone is a cracking race. Like if you want to do an offshore race, this is the one to do. And 19 out of every 20 years, you get these perfect conditions. And boy, did we get perfect
except for the last 2 years.
Well, yeah, we've had. So we got 40 years of perfect conditions coming up, BP. And this year was just glamour. Like you couldn't have fantasized about it better. And it was just everyone smoking in, going downwind, having the best possible time. It was unreal. So everyone that turned up, I hope you're having a great time. We got a lot of positive feedback on the coverage, which was great fun to do.
Nice work.
It's a ton of fun. It's very professional, and I'm very grateful to be included in it. But, now, I guess what...
Very professional.
Yeah, the whole organisation that doing the coverage. Rainbow Sailor. A Rainbow Sailor is the man behind it all.
Oh, well, that's why.
Yeah, former Rainbow Sailor. Grant Cooper and his lovely wife, Nat. They do an amazing job. Cooper McKenzie Marketing, if you're looking for a marketing company to take care of all your business promotion. What was I going to say? So, back to black.
Back to black.
So,
look, we've got to touch on it. We do have to touch on it.
They smoked up there. They were this little 42-footer.
They have absolutely flown up there.
Beat the 52s home. They were like second over the line.
Nailed it.
They smoked that thing up there at full noise. The one thing I think they forgot, right, is they forgot to put the sailing instructions on the boat.
Before you say this, there's an old saying in 18-footers or in skiff sailing, and sailing in general, you got to finish to win.
Well, you got to start.
You got to start to win.
So, look, clearly they left the sailing instructions behind because when they started, the way the line was situated, there's a boat and a pin end, and then 2/3 of the way down the line there was a pink mark, and in that pink mark, in the sailing instructions, it says very clearly, monohull boats leave that mark to port. Multi-hull boats leave that pink mark to starboard. In other words, the bottom third of the line's for multis, the top third of the 2/3 of the line is for monos. And back to black, they must have had a second hull or something, but they went to the wrong side of that mark. And I was reading through as soon as I saw it, I go, I'm not going to mention it. I'm trying to read through the sailing instructions during commercial breaks, and there's just nothing that. There was a thing.
No explanation.
I was trying to see if they could take a penalty and, because I knew they were going to fly up there. They had them predicted as the winner. And there's just no way they could get out of it in the sailing instructions. I was trying to find a loophole for them and see, but I couldn't see one. So a lot of mates on that boat.
A lot of mates. Yeah, there is a lot of mates on the boat. And there's a lot of great sailors on the boat. And, Sean is a fantastic advocate for Australian sailing, and my heart goes out to them. I mean, honestly, you put a lot of effort into these events, and for that to happen, obviously. But hey, what do you say?
Well, another one though, one of the multis is the one that I would have gone north on. So Stephen Humphreys, who I did the Gold Coast to Brisbane race on, he was smoking that little boat along. He and his crew were flying along, but they had to pull out of the race, and because they broke their rudder box, they lost their starboard rudder box, right? Snapped it off, and they also blew their spinnaker halyard in the middle of the night when they were absolutely flying along. He said his top speed limping in on a cat with one rudder and a staysail was 23 knots.
Beautiful.
Thing's motoring, mate.
That's why you've converted, mate.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. They hit a top of 24.6 during the night, so that's pretty impressive. Cool. Moving on, Antigua Race Week. It's a new event on the program that looks like there's a few boats sailing, all different shapes and sizes. Fantastic news. Good work.
Yes. If we had a Caribbean reporter, maybe they could give us some more information.
No, I don't think he was around for that one. Sail GP, mate. So we got by the
Sail GP. Yes, let's talk about that.
There'll be one more day of this to go. Did you watch any?
World's shortest course.
Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it? So short. It looks weird.
And the start line. We were talking about the start line.
So narrow. Yeah.
All the boats couldn't even get across.
Yeah. It was crazy trying to fit it in. 27.5 metre rigs, all the light wing gear up. It looked a bit full bore, but in the end. What have we got? Artemis, outstanding performance.
Saw that, yep.
The Aussies going gangbusters. The US team have had success after success after success this year. They've turned a corner, haven't they?
We've just discussed. We were discussing it today, sitting around at the bar there. It seems there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, they're doing well. I think they've had a couple of key crew changes, and I won't say names or anything at the moment, but I think that's really starting to work for them. And so I do, it's good to see. And so they're a real threat now. They've really got it all worked out. They took their time to work it out. But yeah, geez, it was a little bit of a lottery. It was a bit watching the Brazilian lottery, wasn't it? It really was.
I've never watched the Brazilian lottery. Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, they sail boats around and pull out the sail number. That's how they do it. So a couple of other things I can probably share. The Spanish team's got a new owner. The whole team's been sold to Quantum Pacific. Now, Quantum Pacific...
That little shop in New Zealand?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a small family business in New Zealand called Quantum Pacific. I don't think it's that one. I think it's the international conglomerate Quantum Pacific that may have bought the team, yes. But it would have been funny if a little small New Zealand company had bought it. The New Zealand boat. So we all know that the French...
This is good news.
Yeah, so the French, half the New Zealand boat, half the French boat were put together at Southerns and sent over to Brazil, and they're out there racing. And, Ashby's on board, Liv Mackay's on board, so because there's a few people still recovering from the French team. But the New Zealand boat, I believe, has been completed.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. So that's the rumour I've picked up. Obviously, I'm a little close to Sail GP, but yeah, for the New Zealand fans out there, I don't think it'll be overly long before you hear about the New Zealand boat being back in the race.
Super news. Well, that's great news. Okay.
What else can I tell you? Oh, just want to mention the Shanghu International Elite Regatta. There was an event in China where they got like 14 nations, 20 teams from 14 different nations to compete in like the Far East 23s, I think they were. So like they took all these world champions from a whole bunch of different classes to win. So the Kazakhstan team from Melina Racing had the win.
Kazakhstan.
I think it was Kazakhstan. I think. Hang on, I'll go back and check my notes. KGZ. Anyway, but Binks Marine, Sandy Higgins, one of my closest mates, and the team from Binks Marine got in second. So a little bit of bias there from us. There was a whole bunch of world champions from all sorts of different classes on that. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. Allman Sales were in third, the Cayman Islands. Very cool. So that's an interesting event. I didn't even know it existed, but then I was on a snowboard trip with Sandy and he was telling me all about it, and he was just about to go there to it. So I did want to mention that. So some of the top sailors from around the world turning up for that one in China.
Well done for Sandy Higgins.
Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah. It seems like things are ramping up here in the household. There's the barbecue tongs are out.
Right.
The cooking oil's been grabbed, and the lamb chops are ready to be cooked up. So
you're telling me to get off. It's time to go.
No, I'm just saying that it's been a wonderful chat, and it was a really, really cool chat with Emil.
Yeah.
I think we're in good shape.
Cool. All right, my friend. Well, why don't we call it there? Thank you to all the listeners for dialing in and listening to us ramble on. Apologies for no Mr. Bice. We've actually decided we got all professional during this week, didn't we, BP? And we said, righto.
Well, we tried.
We tried. I created a Google sheet so we can try and communicate, but it fell apart at the first.
No, I've got it.
No. In terms of he didn't turn up for this one, so we'll have to work on it a bit more. But anyway, that's life. But we'll just try and keep Barkarati going and make sure it's fun for you. Let us know if you're getting bored. If you're unhappy, send money and we'll...
If you don't like us, send money. Jesus, we're still poor though. That's the problem.
Yeah, we're very poor. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go that. Radix Nutrition, go to their website if you want to get some cool nutrition. DisruptorMarineMarketing.com.au if you want to try and keep your business charging while you're out in the water. And look after our friends. Check out our friends at Vycobi for all the fantastic gear. That's it. Cheers at barkarati.com to reach out to us.
Legends.
Good luck this week, mate.
See you, mate. I'll keep you posted.
Cool.
Oh, I can't hear a bloody thing.